Coming up on the show, hot weather continues. This wave of heat continues. Plus, we got scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. We'll be talking about that coming up. Also, driving hands-free in the state has been in place for the past 7 years. But is it working? We'll talk to the Gridlock Guy all about it. And the recently passed One Big Beautiful bill removes taxes on tips. We're going to look at the pros and cons over those changes. This is The Take. Let's get it. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Chesley McNeil. This is The Take, where we go above and beyond the headlines. We look at the how and why, or the why and how stories are impacting you and your community. We invite the experts in to share their take, get their knowledge on what's happening with the latest top stories. Plus, we try to have just a little bit of fun as well. Let's take a look at that forecast, shall we? We start you off with what you can expect for today. We're looking at the possibility for more scattered showers and thunderstorms to pop up as we head into the afternoon. That could have impacts on you folks, which is why we're warning you about it. Now, there's no alerts with it. We are looking at a 30 to 40% chance for those scattered showers and thunderstorms to pop up. So if you have tennis practice or kickball practice or step show practice, whatever it is you're doing outside today or had plans to do outside today, make sure you pay close attention to the forecast and make sure your plans are flexible, because some of those thunderstorms will cause your plans to be postponed, at least, to say the least. Looking at temperatures on the hot side, once again, into the 90s for highs. Now, we've been in the mid-90s the last couple of days. Today, I think we'll see the low 90s thanks to the extra cloud cover and the threat for the rain to be around. That 93-degree temperature, when factored in with the humidity, will make it feel closer to 100 out there. So we could see a heat index between 99, 100, 101 today. It's certainly possible. And again, those thunderstorms won't happen until after about 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. Extended outlook shows we'll do more of the same for the rest of the week. Thursday, 40% chance for the rain. Friday, 40% chance for the rain. Both days, temperatures will be in the low 90s. That makes that heat wave continue. Now, I do think those percentages, like today, Thursday, Friday, could fluctuate a bit on us. We could be looking at anywhere from a 30 to 50% chance for that rain over the next couple of days. As we get into the weekend, we notice that rain threat will start to go down on us a little bit. So only a 20% chance for some scattered showers to be around by Saturday and Sunday. Now, you notice I don't have any raindrops there. That does not mean that, hey, we're not going to get wet on Saturday, Sunday. Let's go out and, no. There's a 20% chance. So that means an isolated shower or thunderstorm could pop up on you. Most of us should stay on the dry side due to that low threat. We'll continue that as we head into the work week next week. You're looking at 95 for the high temperature by Monday and Tuesday. As that rain threat goes down, our rain chances will start to go up. And so that's why, our temperature will start to go up. And that's why we're looking at those temperatures back into the mid-90s. And of course, we'll get into the 100s as far as the heat index goes as we head into next week, because that moisture will be over us once again. So again, today, folks, make sure you pay close attention to the skies. If you don't have our app, go ahead and download that now. It's free of charge. And you get all the alerts right there on your phone as far as if any thunderstorms pop up in your area. You can also take a peek at the radar to see what's coming your way as well. As the skies start to get dark on you a little bit there, you may be looking up saying, hey, man, is there some rain around? You pull out that app, you look at it, rain could be coming right down the pike. You're able to get out scot-free. Get back into your car or seek shelter. Oh, by the way, because those showers and thunderstorms will be on the scattered side, not everyone gets wet. But if you're out and about, maybe you're at the pool and you can hear thunder, sun may be out, but you can hear thunder, that means you can be struck by lightning. So you hear that thunder, time to get inside, folks, and seek some shelter. Get away from those thunderstorms that will happen to pop up on you out there. So we'll happen to keep you safe. And again, download our app. We'll send you all the alerts if anything happens to turn severe. There is the possibility for severe weather this afternoon. The Storm Prediction Center has placed a marginal risk or a level 1 threat to our easternmost counties, and that will take effect. That's already in effect, but it will be around for this afternoon. That means isolated strong to severe thunderstorms are possible. The major threat with those thunderstorms will be very heavy rain, frequent lightning, and also some gusty winds are possible as well. We'll be looking at winds maybe in excess of 50, maybe up to 60 miles per hour. It's certainly possible. Maybe even some small hail in a few of those thunderstorms as well. So be weather aware, folks, for this afternoon. And unfortunately, that's going to continue right on in through the rest of the week. So Thursday, Friday, looking at much of the same. In fact, that severe weather threat And marginal risk will stretch back to the west. That now start to include some of our metro counties by tomorrow, and a level 2 threat will start to pick up in some of our easternmost counties tomorrow. So the threat goes up as far as the severe weather goes. And I think that's going to be much of the same as we head into Friday. With the lower chances for rain for Saturday and Sunday, we'll be looking at some isolated showers around. We'll be looking at Monday and Tuesday, right around 95 degrees for the afternoon high temperature. Since we got some time with the weather forecast, folks, I want to show you a few more graphics. We can time this out for you hour by hour now as far as your forecast goes, since I know a lot of you will be making plans as we'll be out and about this afternoon. So you're looking at the radar right now, and a shower could pop up at any time, but a little bit more likely once we get to the afternoon. You notice the cloud cover that's over us. Now, it was mostly cloudy through the overnight, but now those clouds have begun to break down. So much of the area is starting to see a little bit of sunshine, and that sunshine is helping to heat us up just a little bit more. All right, so as we head, again, as I mentioned, through the afternoon, we'll start to notice some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms popping back up in the area. And I think it won't happen until after 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, and so that's when we'll start to see that. Now, I mentioned the Storm Prediction Center placing that level 1 threat over us. You can see it mainly east of the city now. That's where we'll have it. East of the city is where we have that level 1 threat. That is a marginal risk, or 1 out of a possible 5 as far as any severe weather goes. And so we'll be looking at that. Now, notice that yellow up there to the north. That will start to come down our way by tomorrow. So Thursday, you're looking at that level 2 threat stretching now into the state over toward Augusta. The level 1 threat is over just east of the city of Atlanta. It includes Athens and down into almost into Macon. That level 1 threat means isolated strong to severe thunderstorms will be possible in our area. And the rain threat doesn't go anywhere, right? Really, for the rest of the week, we're looking at that 30 to 40% chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms. And then a 20% chance as we head through the weekend, again, the lower threat. But we're going to keep it at least in the forecast, at least for now. Let's time it out for you hour by hour here. And you watch as we go through this. You'll see how we started out with a few clouds overhead. Those clouds got out of the way. So we get the sunshine in. We'll hold on to that sunshine from now. It's just after 9 o'clock. And so we'll hold on to it at least through about 12. And then we'll start to notice these cumulus clouds bubbling up. Notice how the model has stopped at 2 o'clock, and we start to see those isolated showers begin to develop. They'll become a little bit more widespread as we head through the evening, especially east of the city of Atlanta. Some of those dropping very heavy rain. Some frequent lightning will be associated with it as well. Maybe even a gust of wind or 2. And then things will start to settle down once we get past the 10 o'clock hour. Hey, don't go anywhere, folks. We got much more for you coming up after the break, right after this. All right, welcome back to the show. President Trump took time yesterday to touch on a wide range of items during his latest cabinet meeting. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr, who's been covering politics for years now. And Alice, let's start off with those trade moves, and they seem to be ramping up fast. Like, what stood out to you most about the tone, and which nations are next in the bullseye?
Yeah, we're waiting to hear which nations are going to be next, because President Trump posted on social media overnight that he was going to announce some sort of trade announcements for 7 more countries this morning. We haven't heard yet what those will be. And he said there would be some more announcements coming in the afternoon as well. And the president has kind of established this new method of moving forward more rapidly, because the original idea was to make 90 deals in 90 days. And he said yesterday, and has been saying for the last couple of days, that became kind of unwieldy, impossible to have that many face-to-face sit-down meetings during that span of time. So now they are sending out these letters that are basically semi-final offers, as he's put it, of saying this is the tariff rate that you're going to have to pay in order to do business with the United States. And that's the way he's put it. You know, welcome to the U.S. We hope you make a lot of money, but here's what you're going to have to pay in order to be doing business with the United States. And then he's saying if you want the rate to not be 25% for Japan and South Korea, 40% for Laos and Myanmar, to name a couple of them, then we need to have a quick trade negotiation between now and August 1st. And he said that there are not going to be extensions past August 1st. This is raising concerns, of course, with China and some of our other big trading partners about any kind of spillover effects, with China warning not to increase tensions on trade again and threatening potential retaliation. We don't want to get back into that place where we were war. The markets didn't like it. A lot of small businesses didn't like it either.
I see. All right. Well, let's go on to Russia's war against Ukraine here. And the president seemed especially blunt when talking about Vladimir Putin, saying, quote, he's killing too many people. Is this a real shift in strategy or just a rhetorical one?
It seems to be, because we know that he is now reviewing a bipartisan sanctions package against Russia, something that lawmakers in both parties have been pressing for. And President Trump had been hesitant to go forward with sanctions, with more punitive steps against Russia, while he was hoping that he might be able to prevail upon Russian President Vladimir Putin to negotiate an end to the war. And he is clearly losing patience over that idea. Just overnight, one of the biggest air attacks of the war came from Russia against Ukraine. And so it's very clear that Putin is not slowing down, and that is what the president is voicing frustration over. He went so far as to say that he's not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. But he also said that there was a lot of BS, and he used the full term, being thrown at the Trump administration from Putin. He said he always acts very nice, but it turns out that it doesn't really go anywhere. So, you know, he'd voiced frustration with Ukraine in the past. He's now clearly voicing frustration with Russia, and he's agreed to approve sending more defensive weapons to Ukraine after there was a brief pause from the Pentagon, citing concerns about low stockpiles. So those are real steps, sending weapons to Ukraine and looking at this bipartisan sanctions package against Russia.
We also have a surprise Supreme Court ruling on mass federal layoffs. How is this administration responding behind the scenes to green light, even if it's just temporary?
Yeah, the White House is celebrating this Supreme Court ruling that allows the Trump administration to move ahead, at least for now, with the mass layoffs of federal workers at 19 agencies, overruling a California judge who had said the administration needed input from Congress. The Supreme Court did not rule on the legality of the layoffs themselves, but cleared the way for the firings while litigation continues. Chesley.
All right, Alice, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate your insight on this. All right. Plenty more stories for you coming up, folks, like new Narcan vending machines being placed in one of our Georgia counties. We'll discuss it right after the break. Welcome back to the show. The Newton County Sheriff's Office is taking a proactive approach when it comes to treating an opioid overdose. The agency is installing vending machines stocked with Narcan, placed strategically in certain locations around the county. Joining us now is Caitlin Jett with the Newton County Sheriff's Office. Caitlin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, how many of these machines have the department placed around the area?
Right now we have two. Our second one was just installed at our West Side Precinct on Salem Road in Covington, which is right by the Walmart.
All right, so the law has changed recently to allow these vending machines. Why did you guys decide to take the early lead on this in the state?
Yes, we're always looking for ways to lead in Georgia. Sheriff Ezell Brown partnered with GNR Health, which is Gwinnett Newton Rockdale Health. Through a grant that was awarded to GNR Health, we were able to install the first naloxone vending machine at a law enforcement facility at our headquarters on Alcovey Road in Covington. In June, we have seen that 19 of those boxes have left our facility.
Wow. All right, so you're offering this for free, 24/7. What kind of response has you gotten from the community so far?
We have seen a really positive response. Across the nation, we are seeing the opioid crisis. And so we are hoping that this vending machine will help save lives in Newton County and beyond.
Okay. Are you using this tool as a one-off? Do you see it that way, or is it becoming part of a wider shift in how law enforcement takes on this opioid crisis?
We are hoping that we are a model for this vending machine, and that other sheriff's offices and police departments will follow our lead.
Opioid rehearsals are already high in Newton County. What is the bigger message these machines are sending to residents and other people watching this model?
Can you repeat that question?
Like what you guys are taking the role in installing these. We see that the opioid reversals are pretty high there in Newton County. What's the bigger message that the machines are sending to residents and other counties watching how you guys are doing it?
Yes, that we are really trying to combat the opioid crisis. By placing this machine in our facility, we are bridging the gap between public safety and public health. According to ODMAP, which is the Overdose Detection Mapping Application Program, from 2024 to present, Georgia reported about 15,500 overdose incidents requiring an emergency response. Newton County accounted for 173 of those incidents, which is approximately 1.12% of the state's total. Out of that, naloxone was administered in 113 of those local cases, representing 65% of responses.
Yeah. Are you guys going to be adding any more? Any plans in the future to add more of those machines around?
We are looking into installing more of those machines.
Yeah. Okay. You've placed them. Well, you said you got one now. You have the two, right?
Yes, so we have one at our headquarters on Covey Road. Then we have one at our West Side Precinct on Salem Road.
What's some of the other locations that you'd be looking to place them?
We can look at our other precincts. We have about 3 other precincts. We also have some county buildings, so I can't specify where we're going to be placing them, but we are looking into placing more. All
right, Caitlin Jett, thanks so much for joining us today, and thanks for your insight on this epidemic and the problem in the county.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk to Doug Trummel about the roads in Atlanta, plus the latest on his column about texting and driving. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. It's been 7 years since Georgia's ban on holding or touching a mobile device while driving kicked in. The question is it still working? You know who has the answer? Yeah, the Gridlock Guy. He has it in his latest column. Here now with us is 11Alive's Doug Trummel. And Doug, you learned a lot about this, and we want to know right off the bat, is it still working?
Well, for sure, and I think there's some ways, Chesley, some subjectivity involved in that, right? If you look at the numbers, right, enforcement's gone way up because a new law got made. In 2018, legislators at the Gold Dome, which we just drove by here in our traffic impact tracker truck, passed that Hands-Free Georgia Act. It actually added on to an existing anti-texting ban that came out in, I believe, 2005. But what they wanted to do in passing that act, Chesley, was make it enforceable, because at that time, from 2005 until 18, someone could still be holding their smartphone, or back then even flip phone, and if they had their hands on the keys and an officer pulled them over, they could just say, hey, I'm making a phone call, because phone calls were legal, texting was not, and it was almost impossible to decipher. So they made this new layer of regulation to enforce the texting law, right? Well, of course, that meant that tickets for those went up. Now, when this law came out in 2018, you had this grace period, and then they started enforcing it, and then, going under the bridge here, and then as they started enforcing it, the offenses were a lot, they weren't very big, right? It's like $50 for your first offense. You could get your first offense waived if you showed up in court and had proof that you had a holster for your phone or had some sort of hands-free device. Now, so we had a lot of people getting tickets, but let's just look around now. Let's zoom out until 2025. What have we had happen since 2018? All right, what have we had since 2018? We had COVID, right? And all matter of driving common sense seemed to go out the window as COVID happened, because the roads emptied, speeds picked up, and honestly, the awareness of it went down. Chesley, you and I have been in Atlanta a long, long time. I don't know how many people are living in Atlanta or have moved here since you started at 11Alive. Heck, I started 3 weeks ago. I don't know how many lived and moved since I started, okay? So that means that there's people that aren't aware of the law. There's also people that just don't care about it. And frankly, even people that did care about it in 2018, when there was all the public service announcements, all the media stories, well, then those go away. And then you have this less awareness. Also, what happened since 2018, during COVID times, and I'm not trying to open up a can of worms, but during COVID times, we had all of the racial angst, right, about the George Floyd killing, the rightful public outrage. And there was this big gap between law enforcement and people. And so law enforcement were, as a lot of people's opinions would say, picking and choosing where they made their presence known in some cases, and that meant pulling people over for small offenses may not have been as high on the list, especially when that fever pitch was there in the middle of 2020. So, Chesley, you had all these things together: messaging, people from out of town, even a general public malaise, right? And we've seen Georgia actually not be up to the national average with people that have comparable laws.
You know, does technology play a role in this? I think people with newer cars probably have Apple Play and Android Auto, that kind of thing, where everything just goes right there to your screen. Does that play a role in that, where you don't have to pick up the phone, everything is right there?
You would think that, I mean, most cars have it now. In fact, I'm of the opinion every car, you should even get adapters for it to have either Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Even those are distracting, they do make you legal in terms of this law and make you less of a threat on the roads if you're texting via voice per se or using your GPS on a screen. So the advent of that technology should make it to where we have less people holding their phones. But we've all sat at red lights and looked over, and we've been tempted to do it ourselves. I'm not above reproach here, right? That you still see people put their hands on their phones to do stuff that Apple CarPlay can't do, or because the voice, the Siri or the deal you're using on Google isn't picking up your voice right. Well, I got time to check that email, right? Well, that's completely illegal. So one thing to mention too, Chesley, what does the law allow and not allow? You're allowed to touch the screen of your phone to make a phone call or manipulate your GPS. You are not allowed to palm your phone, to hold it, if you will, and you're not allowed to leave it in your pocket.
Yes.
You also can't do any kind of videoing with your phone, and you also can't, watch videos or do social media messaging too. So it's really very confined, but a lot of people have stretched the limit.
So what does that say about people and their feeling about the law itself? I mean, it sounds like they're just disregarding it. As you said, you drive around every morning, you're seeing people right there holding their phones, right?
Yeah, data scientist Alex Karen talked to me in Gridlock Guy. It really has to do with how well the states message it and how well the media promotes it, right? I think people in general want to do right, but it's about peer pressure. You know, like the good book says, iron sharpens iron, right? So if you see other people doing it, you think, well, it's okay for me to check a little bit. So I think we're in a bit of a mind hive here. And the other thing, Chesley, with technology becoming more prevalent, it makes us less focused on the main task at hand behind the wheel, and that's driving. If it becomes easier to drive and easier to text, even though you want to do the right thing, you take your mind off the driving because it's easier to do both.
Gotcha. All right, so what are you working on next? What's your next piece?
Hey, you know what's happening this weekend. We got Cowboy Carter, All-Star Game, even WWE in town. So my Gridlock Guy column is going to cover basically the impact of traffic Sunday through Tuesday. And I have a version of that that's going to be up at 11alive.com early to cover all the events that happen Thursday through Tuesday.
Sounds good. The Gridlock Guy keeping us informed. Really appreciate it, my friend. Stay safe on the roads out there. And put that phone down.
Hey, thanks to you and Jess for having me. Yeah.
All right. You can read Doug's latest column and follow all of his Gridlock Guy chronicles online at 11alive.com. All right. You're watching The Take, folks. Don't go anywhere. We got much more for you coming up right after the break. President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill is now signed into law, and we're continuing to learn more of the ways the legislation will impact the average Georgian. One such item is a provision to eliminate federal income tax on tips. It's a move meant to help those in the service industry, and it's already getting some major political buzz and economic debate. Joining us now is Jonathan Levins. He's a CPA with Moore Colson. Welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Glad to be here.
For someone working in the service industry, how will this rule change what they report when it comes to their filing their taxes?
Sure. So those that are in industries that typically have tip as part of their compensation will likely receive a benefit this year via deduction on their individual tax returns as an offset to qualified tip income that they receive. So the deduction is up to $25,000 of qualified tip income. And so at year end, when they file their personal income tax returns, they will report that tip income with an offsetting deduction.
So they still have to report that even though they'll no longer be taxed federally, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's
all right.
correct.
So you still have to file that. I got you. All right. So should workers expect to see bigger paychecks right away?
I don't think so. The Treasury has been charged to update their withholding tax forms, so I suspect that's going to take a little bit of time for those to come out. But I do suspect that probably closer to year end, those individuals who are in a space where they receive tip income should consult with their employers and potentially file a form to reduce their withholdings to go ahead and get some of that benefit. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, those who do not do that and who are eligible for this deduction will claim it on their year-end tax returns and then receive a refund in March, April timeframe.
So you have a rough estimate about how much time this is going to take for them to see that increase?
What I have seen from most commentators is it would probably be the fourth quarter before it really gets rolled out. I think there's a lot of work that has to be done with the payroll systems, the software, kind of how that operates. So that's going to take a little bit of time to work its way through.
Yeah.
So those who do adjust for withholding would probably be Q4, and then they would get kind of the remainder of the benefit when they file their income tax returns.
You got some critics out there saying that underreporting will start to take effect now, and even tip abuse. What are these? Are there any safeguards against preventing any of that?
Sure. So part of the bill is the Treasury is supposed to release within 90 days a list of those industries that are eligible for this benefit. So it's supposed to include a pretty all-encompassing list of those industries, and so I suspect that there will be a lot of compliance and sort of review around that as people claim the deduction.
Yeah. How about restaurant owners, small businesses, employees? What should they be doing right now to remain compliant?
I think they definitely should consult with a qualified accountant or CPA to understand the rules. I think they're going to need to consult with their payroll provider to make sure that those adjustments get made within the reporting system. And then obviously, nothing has really changed as far as what tips are required to be reported on payroll forms and returns. So I think businesses need to be conscious of that. And then on the employee side, aside from the potential adjustment for the withholding at year end, I think they just need to be aware of this rule so that they don't miss that benefit, and then obviously claim that deduction at year end on their personal tax returns.
All right, Jonathan Evans, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for your insight. Really appreciate all those tips as well.
Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, folks, here's a live look at Midtown, Georgia Midtown. You can see Georgia Tech Stadium right there. Bobby Dodd right there in the foreground. Looks like a decent day. We do have a few clouds out there, but they're high, thin clouds. The sun is shining right through them, and so we're still getting plenty of sunshine on the outside, which is helping to heat things up around the area. In fact, we're going to see those temperatures going all the way up into the 90s again today. I'm thinking right around 93 degrees for your forecast high temperature. And then, of course, you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like closer to 100 out there, and we'll have some scattered showers and thunderstorms around later on this afternoon. All right, here is a look at, excuse me, Hartsfield Jackson, where the Transportation Security Administration is now kicking off a new initiative to expand travel benefits for military members and their families. And we have the pleasure to talk more about this with the Acting Deputy Administrator of the TSA, Adam Stahl. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, man, we're glad you're here, man. This campaign is called Serve with Honor, Travel with Ease. Walk us through what's all involved with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this administration, the secretary, incredibly happy, honored, and proud to support this program, which really provides out a variety of benefits to really highlight and honor, our military members, their families, to really ease the burden. Three really significant pieces here. One is expedited front-of-the-line access for approximately 10 highly trafficked military airports like Atlanta. Two, $25 discounts for pre-check, specifically for military spouses. And three, which we're really particularly excited about, is working with our sponsors, a free pre-check for Gold Star families, of course, families that have lost a loved one in the line of duty. And so we're working proactively to extend those out today.
Oh, certainly those things are helpful. Absolutely. We know that the airport experience can be stressful for families, especially those that hope to ease that stress. How do you plan to deal with that? Like, what are some of the other things? You mentioned some, but what are some of the other things you help to ease some of that stress of traveling, especially with family?
Yeah, absolutely. So the 10 airport, up front of the line, expedited access will vary slightly by airport, depending on space configuration. Specifically for Atlanta and the large military community there, it will be a front of the line expedited access. So anyone that has a military ID that's active duty and their co-traveler can get, if they show their military ID at the checkpoint, and there will be signage, of course, they will get expedited access to the front of the line to proceed and pass through the checkpoint. Additionally, if anyone has additional questions about enrollment, particularly for military spouses or Gold Star families, please go out to TSA.gov or ask TSA on social media. Additionally, I want to also give a shout out and underscore the fact that active duty military are already eligible for free pre-check. So if active duty military members, men and women, have questions about how to enroll, again, please go to TSA.gov for more information.
There you go. That's where you get all the information right there. Before we let you go, though, I want to ask you about the new move, no longer requiring passengers to require their shoes or taking their shoes off at checkpoints. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this announcement came from the secretary yesterday, and we're really excited. I think we have a secretary and administration that's incredibly forward-leaning, and we're really focused on modernizing transportation, aviation security at large. And we fundamentally we believe that this does not have to be or compromise security at all at checkpoints nationwide. We've really evolved significantly our security posture, at a variety of elements of the checkpoint, vetting, threat detection, as well, a variety of other areas. And so we believe, again, we don't have to choose between security and passenger seamlessness. We can have both. Both can coexist. And we're extremely confident and excited to roll this new policy out, again, to reduce wait times and improve the travel process for Americans across the country.
Yeah. Do you think the policy was a success, looking back on it?
Say that one more time.
Do you think the policy was a success, looking back on it now, the checking?
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. This will be a success. And we're, again, excited to roll this out.
Okay. Sounds good. Adam Saul, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
All right. Plenty more stories for you, folks, right after this break. Don't you go anywhere. This is The Plus, and we are The Take. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the show. It's a material found in everything from pipes to wires, even some of the pennies you have jingling around in your pocket. You know what? It just got pricier. CNN's Maribel Aber joins us now from the NASDAQ market site in New York City. Good morning to you, Maribel. What's with the spike in the price of copper now?
Hey, good morning, Chesley. It was a huge spike. In fact, copper prices surged to a record high yesterday after President Trump put a steep tariff on imports of the metal. So contracts for copper jumped 13% to trade around $5.70 per pound. And that was the best one-day gain since 1989. The move brings copper tariffs in line with U.S. duties on imports of steel and aluminum. Those tariffs were doubled to 50% early last month. Now, copper is the third most used metal after iron and aluminum. And as you mentioned, is key for things like electric wiring. Right now, the U.S. imports almost half of the copper it uses, and most of that comes from Chile, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. This morning, copper has come down just a bit in price off those highs yesterday, Chesley.
All right. Yesterday, we talked about Waymo mania, right, expanding across the country there. And now they're looking to open up to a whole new generation, huh?
Waymo will offer teen accounts for driverless rides, Chesley. Parents can invite their teens aged 14 to 17 into the program. Now, once the account is activated, teens can access Waymo's fully autonomous rides. Waymo said it will offer especially trained agents for rides hailed by teens, and parents can be sort of looped in if needed. Teens can also share real-time updates during the ride, and parents will also receive the receipts for a ride. Right now, the service is being offered in Phoenix with plans to expand to more markets. Waymo's teen accounts follow a similar move by Uber. That company launched teen accounts in 2023. Waymo has partnerships with Uber in some markets, and it said it may consider enabling access for teens through its partners in the future. Chesley, I wonder what my mom would say. You know, I was one of those latchkey kids. I was 4 walking into the house. I'm not sure she'd let me in the car with no driver.
Yeah, probably not. You know, I'm really interested, Maribel, in this next story because I'm a teacher here at Kennesaw State University, and I understand that big tech companies are pumping millions into how to train folks like me on AI.
Yes, that is exactly right. Okay, tech giants, Chesley, and a teachers union are teaming up to bring artificial intelligence to classrooms. This is a $23 million initiative, and it's backed by Microsoft, OpenAI, and Anthropic. They're partnering with the American Federation of Teachers to open an academy for AI instruction, and the academy will offer courses to train teachers to use AI safely and ethically in the classroom. The goal is to train 400,000 educators. That's roughly 10% of the U.S. teaching workforce in how to use artificial intelligence. All this comes as AI is already reshaping classrooms, as you already know. A recent survey from Titan Partners found students using AI-powered tools like ChatGPT more frequently, and some schools have been implementing AI detection software. That's due to concerns about students using the technology to cheat or complete assignments. I mean, this really hits home for you, I'm sure. I mean, if teachers don't learn, Chesley, the kids in the classroom will have to teach them. In fact, you know, a friend of mine, his son is an engineering student, and his teacher had actually accused him of fraud, cheating, using AI. And that son actually had taken screenshots of his work all along the way to show that he wasn't using AI. So this is a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. It is a big problem. So we're going to have to keep up, I guess, with the technology as teachers.
You got to stay ahead of it, Chesley.
Yeah. Got to do something. Got to do something quick. All right. We were close to making things easier to cancel online, but I hear that's now on pause.
It's after the FTC's new click-to-cancel rule was been blocked by a federal appeals order. Chesley, the rule was aimed at making it easier for consumers to cancel membership, subscription services, that renew automatically. It was set to take effect this coming Monday, July 14th, but various industry associations and businesses objected to it, saying the FTC didn't follow correct procedures and do an analysis before issuing the rule. Late yesterday, an appeals court agreed, saying the FTC didn't do an appropriate regulatory analysis. That analysis is required for rules whose annual effect on the national economy would be more than $100 million. Well, the FTC argued it was not required to prepare the analysis because its initial estimate of the rule impact was under that $100 million threshold. Here's the thing, Chesley. Those free trials, they're tricky. So two things. If you start a free trial, always mark on your calendar a few days before it auto-extends to cancel it, and then take a screenshot of that.
I had a charge for scholarships. I forgot the name of the app, but it was like the scholarship thing, and it was a trial, so I tried it. That thing stayed around forever. I couldn't figure out how to get it off my phone. I couldn't figure out how to.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Very tough to do. Finally, I got it, but let's make it easier.
Just give me a call, Chesley. I'll help you out.
Appreciate it. All right, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you.
You got it.
All right, take care. Folks, don't go anywhere. We got much more show for you right after the break. All right, there's a look at the city of Atlanta from DeKalb County there, looking at downtown. Looks beautiful, right? That little orange glow right there. We have plenty of sunshine on the outside, and it looks pretty good. Enjoy it today, folks. Now, note it when you walk outside, it's going to be on the muggy side. The temperatures are in the 80s as we speak. We'll be going up to the 90s for highs for this afternoon. When you factor in humidity, it's going to feel closer to 100. We'll also see some of those scattered showers, thunderstorms start to pop up. We've been noticing that increase each day this week. It's been getting a little bit higher, a little better chances for that rain to be around as we have been going along. And that's going to continue to be the case for the last couple of days of this week. So tomorrow and Friday, look for a 40% chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms to be around the forecast area. 91 for your high temperature on Thursday. By Friday, we're looking at 90 for the high. Now, that chance for rain starts to go down a little bit as we head into the upcoming weekend. Now, that doesn't mean you will not see any showers. Now, most of us won't. But you'll be hedging your bet a little bit to try to plan anything, because there is a 20% chance we could see during the afternoon an isolated shower begin to pop up. And if you got your little plans outside, well, not little, I didn't mean to say little, but you got your plans on the outside, a shower could come along and ruin that for you. Temperatures will start to go back up as well as that chance for rain starts to go back down. So you're looking at temperatures in the low 90s for Saturday, Sunday, but then we hit those mid 90s as we head into Monday and Tuesday. Only a 20% chance for the rain both days. 95 degrees will be the afternoon high. With the temperatures that high, when you factor in that humidity, it's going to feel like the triple digits. Now, once you get to 105, at least in our area, heat index of 105, that's when heat advisories start being issued, and so the things you have to look out for. But even before that point gets here, you definitely need to take the necessary precautions. And we always talk about how you need to drink plenty of water, especially if you're going to be outside, how you don't want to overexert yourself on days like this. Now, keep in mind, we're in this wave. We've been in the 90s for a little while, and that's going to continue. So it's been hot already, and that's going to continue to be the case. So you definitely want to wear light-colored, loose-fitting clothes. That way the air gets to blow in between your clothes there. You don't want to wear anything thick that kind of blocks that heat, your heat, from getting out of your body. So you wear that. And also carry the umbrella around with you, right? Because we'll have those scattered showers and thunderstorms that will be around, and some of those could be on the strong to severe side. And so that's something that we're going to continue to watch out for, especially over the next couple of days as those thunderstorms will be popping up in our forecast area. Unfortunately, folks, that pattern is going to continue for us over the next couple of days. And some of those could be on the strong to severe side. So we are starting off with a beautiful day. Take a look here over at Northside Hospital. Our camera from Northside Hospital kind of shows where we have the King Queen building. We have clear skies on the outside. You don't see any clouds over us at all. But those cumulus clouds will start to bubble in as we get into the daytime heating, so we'll be watching out for that as we head into the afternoon. Here's a better look at it now on the radar satellite composite. It shows that we are looking at a few clouds south of the city, We'll be looking at a few of those clouds. No rain coming out of the clouds at all, so we don't have to worry about that. But we'll be looking at those continuing to break up as we head through the afternoon. Now, some of that will come back to us, of course, and I think that's what's going to help to keep that temperature from getting up into the mid-90s for today. Already in the 80s, as you can see throughout our forecast area. 85 degrees in Duluth. That is the warm spot. 83 in Atlanta, 82 degrees in Covington, down toward Thomaston, over toward Athens. 78 in Carrollton. You're looking at 74 degrees up toward Georgia's Rome. 77 in Blairsville. Blairsville already passed Rome as far as the temperature goes. That's what that sunshine, the power of the sun will do for you. 93 degrees for the high temperature, but we'll feel like the triple digits once we get into the daytime heating for today. You'll notice offshore is where we have the showers over toward the east. More of those will build our way once we get into the afternoon. Scattered showers. Not everyone gets wet from this. There'll be not widespread showers around, but more of the isolated variety. Notice the Storm Prediction Center has placed over toward the east of us a level 1 threat. So Athens over toward Augusta. All right, in between is where you have that level 1 threat. That is a marginal risk. What that means is we'll see an isolated shower or thunderstorm that could reach severe criteria, meaning the winds could be a little bit strong, maybe 50, 60 mile per hour winds, along with that heavy rain, the frequent lightning, of course, and we could see those gusty winds along with maybe even some hail. By tomorrow, this is Thursday, notice how that level 2 threat starts to infiltrate the state. So it's over toward Augusta, and it pushes that level 1 threat almost into Atlanta. All right, so we'll have another go of it on Thursday with those scattered showers and thunderstorms around the forecast area. So the next couple of days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you got a 40% chance of rain, but I do think that will fluctuate a little bit. Maybe between 30 and 50% chance is how that will go over the next couple of days. Of course, we'll keep you updated on it. As we get closer to the weekend, the good news is that threat for rain starts to go down a little bit. Only a 20% chance, which means most of us will stay on the dry side. But again, if you're going to try to do something outside, don't say I didn't say it wasn't going to rain, okay? We also take a look at it is hurricane season, so we take a look at the tropics. And during July, we just started July, typically tropical development comes from the eastern portions of the Caribbean Sea, could develop there and then run up along the eastern seaboard or run right on into the Gulf and go up that way as well. And the good news is that there is nothing out there right now of any concern. As you can see, we're looking good here in the Gulf, down the Caribbean Sea, absolutely empty there, and the Atlantic Ocean. Look at that. Nothing. So that means we're not looking at any tropical activity over the next couple of days. We're looking good. Forecast track model shows those isolated showers popping up after 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then we'll see them scattered around the area, and then we'll repeat that over the next couple of days, as you can see, and then that chance goes down as we head into the weekend and into next week, where temperatures will be right around 95 degrees for an afternoon high, both Monday and Tuesday. We're back right after this. All right, before we go, folks, I want to give you my final take. Shout out to Mattel Toys and the Barbie brand. The toy maker is aiming to expand its inclusivity by launching its first doll with type 1 diabetes. Can you believe that? Yeah, the new Barbie comes complete with a continuous glucose monitor, insulin pump, and lots of more things to represent those that have the chronic disease. It is the hope of the company that the new doll will help shape children's early perceptions of the world reflected with medical conditions like type 1 diabetes, and to ensure more kids can see themselves in the stories they imagine with toys. Can you believe that? I agree. I think this is a great tool to help kids who wind up with friends who are affected by diabetes be more sensitive to their needs, right? T1D Barbies are what they're called, and they're now available for $11 to $12. So a great tool to help kids out with, again, somebody they may wind up knowing with diabetes. Great tool. The only question is, are kids still playing with toys? Or are they playing with iPads and iPhones and ChatGPT? You know, I hope not. You know, just let them be a kid, man. Go out and buy them a doll or two, you know what I mean? And teach them about the world, a little bit more about the world, and have a conversation with them as well. All right, folks, make it a great day. That's all we got for you today. Help to encourage someone today, all right? And make it great.